we have to talk about the top 5 power rankings, and here's my criteria on top 5 power rankings. If one team is above the other, then then you choose them in the playoffs over the other team, no matter what. When I do power rankings, I mean teams with the chances to go, best chance to win the Super Bowl right now. And obviously, based on current form, has to matter, obviously. Like, generally, when you're doing a top 10, the Niners, or top 5, the Niners are always in it. But despite the fact that you probably still, I'd probably still believe the 49ers have a top 5 chance in terms of every NFL team to win the Super Bowl this season, I wouldn't put that team in my power rankings, trying to, I wouldn't put that team in my power rankings into the top 5 because, bro, they haven't looked good enough. They've been 5-5. It's been unacceptable. And we'll get to the 49ers, but I don't know if I want to start off with number 1 or number 5. And it's tricky now because it's kind of unfair to do this. I think I would have probably had Pittsburgh in my top 5 if it wasn't for today's loss. This is actually difficult. I think my top 4 is pretty straight simple, I guess. I'll put the Chargers actually into the top 5. I thought last week was a great win for them because, look, they started off 6-3, but there was still some major questions with them because if you look at the quarterbacks they beat on that run, the 6 games so far this season, they haven't been awfully impressive. They beat Gardner Minshew, they beat Bryce Young, Gardner Minshew, Bryce Young, a rookie Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler. It was also a rookie, but Spencer Rattler, Jameis Winston, Spencer Rattler, Jameis Winston, the performance levels or the competition had not been there. The other one was Will Levis with the Titans. Their 6 wins before this haven't came and gone great opposition, especially against great quarterbacks. Now they took on the likes of Joe Burrow, in which they couldn't suppress, especially in that second half. He was able to get things going. He was 28 of 50 for 356 yards. But I thought the Chargers, what they were able to do in that first half, just absolutely dismantled the Cincinnati defense, scored 24 points. This is a Chargers team that lacks any sort of explosiveness and any sort of real, number 1 wide receiver where, they can call a play on 4th down, a 4th and 6, 4th and 7, and someone they'll go. This Chargers team doesn't have that, If you look at a game-by-game perspective, this Chargers team are struggling, to get 100 yards receivers. Now, Ladd McConkey, he's been a good rookie wide receiver for them. He gives them something a little bit different, yes. But he's not the guy to... Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties there. But he's not the guy that, can be that number 1. And he is a rookie. But despite that, they were able to dominate that Bengals team in that first half. It had me really thinking, wow, are the Bengals really this horrible on defense? I think it's a combination of both. I think the Bengals, they've been god-awful on defense this season. But I think the Chargers are starting to figure it out offensively. They're starting to get a little bit more offensive plays. They're still heavily relying on the run game, which there's no problem with that. It is John Harbaugh's way of football. I know this. I was a 49er fan then. I'm still a 49er fan now. Actually, I made it seem like I'm not a 49er fan now anymore. But I was also a 49er fan then, and I know the way he wanted to go about it. There was a clear formula on how they were gonna get their wins, and there was clear priorities and how playing good defense and having a good run game and being able to play off that play action and hype up the quarterbacks and make the quarterbacks believe, they're the most important human being in the world. In that moment where he does the little slaps on the shoulder, I've seen it all. Jim Harbaugh, and he's just an absolutely brilliant head coach. And I wish for him success over his brother, because his brother got the best of him a few times. The one thing does Jim have that John doesn't have is a national championship in college. But John Harbaugh has a Super Bowl. I'm sure he'll take that any day. So, but yeah, I'll put the Chargers number 5. Number 4, I'll put the Buffalo Bills. Look, the Bills won, and they beat the Chiefs, yes. But they've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season before. And for me to get really hyped about this Buffalo Bills team, they need to beat the Chiefs in the postseason. But the fact I have them here lower than what you expected with Buffalo is, I go back to Buffalo Bills' loss, I think you can learn about a team I think you can learn more about a team in a loss than you could do in a win. And I think the Buffalo Bills are a great example of that. They're getting their victories here and there against opposition just far less talent. But when the talent margin gets close and they need a real proper plan, they're struggling to get anything going. There's and as far as Buffalo, I'm when you see what they how they performed against the Texans, how Josh Allen performed against the Texans, 9 of 30 for 131 yards and a touchdown. You also saw how Buffalo just got completely manhandled by Baltimore when they went away. They are 9-2, but I've taken the quality of opponents in that 9-2, and it's almost a little bit of a fake 9-2 to me, and that's why I have them at number 4. I'll probably move. I'll put the Eagles number 3. Look, the Eagles are looking like that team that we saw earlier this past season, or even the season before, where they reached the Super Bowl. We knew the pressure that Nick Sirianni was on, and the criticism surrounding him and how last year ended, and then also on top of that the 2-2 start, and how there's been certain games that he's had a really bad management and decision making. But look, at the end of the day, I thought I think what Philadelphia has done is they've been really, really good this season. They've been able to get on a run, be that 8-2 team, and yeah, I look forward to seeing this NFC race. I think it's really going to come down to the wire. Even when you get into the playoffs, you're going to have the Commanders, the Lions, the Eagles, the we don't know about the Niners, but there's going to be a lot of good teams, and we're going to have a lot of interesting matchups, because I think the quality overall has gotten up in the league, especially of the upper echelon teams. So yeah, I have them 4. So I had them 4. So I had Buffalo 5, Pittsburgh 4. No, I didn't have Buffalo 5. I had Chargers 5. Chargers 5. I had Buffalo. Where did I add? I'm confused. I think I had Baltimore 4, Chargers 5, and then yeah, okay. So yeah, Chargers 5, Buffalo 4, Philadelphia 3. Number 2, I'm still, despite Kansas City's loss, I'm still gonna put Detroit there. Look, Chiefs are still 9-1, and let's speak about Buffalo. Detroit. Detroit's been great, absolutely great. They're playing some really, really good football. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's continuing to look like an All-Pro. Jared Goff, he's looking like a Pro Bowl quarterback. But look, I just can't put anybody ahead of Kansas City until they've been able to slay the dragon. They just know how to get these victories when they need it. And I think in the playoffs, that's going to be a big, big factor. So for me to put anybody ahead of them in the power rankings, I think is just, quite frankly, irresponsible.